So question 3 lets you explore two variants of the count function. If you remember in project 1, when we talked about the average, we used the function count, which counted numeric characters in the cells. But count does not recognize non-numeric characters in the cells, and a lot of times we do have to count alpha characters in the cells. You may have heard the term alphanumeric characters. In computing, they refer to letters and numbers, excluding the comparison operators. Well, sure enough, right in the middle of me narrating, my neighbor decides to cut his grass. I hope you guys don't hear it on the video. So for alpha characters, non-numeric characters, the designers of Excel created the count A function. That counts just non-blank cells, whatever you put in that cell. Let's do it here. Our typical way of entering functions is to just count. And I'll go back to the start of the range. Got to close parentheses. I'll never tire reminding people about this. And you can see that Excel has just showed you that you've done the right thing by making these parentheses bold for a second. Okay, we have 21. That was count. Now let's see how count A behaves. If we just add A to this, the result is the same. Now, suppose we want to do the same for a different range. Let's drag it over here. The range is going to change now. I'm going to make it an E range. So count A has counted 3 non-blank cells here. Now if we make it count, the very first one we have explored, we get 0 here. Okay? So this is the difference between count and count A. Right? Count A is for non-blank cells. Count will only count the numeric characters, the cells with numeric characters in them. Another variant of count is count if. We're going to get to it in a second. So let's just do count A first. I'm going to count all the cells in this range. Close the parentheses. See, it went bold for a second, so Excel can work with it. And now the productivity feature. Okay, we have the ranges adjusted automatically by Excel. Watch the formula bar. Okay, we have the B range there. Now the C range. D, E, and F. I'm sure by now you all remember that, correct? Now the next exercise is to use a conditional value. Count if. Okay, this function will allow you to put some condition into your calculation. In this case, the condition will be the salaries which are over 40 grand. Okay. So, to fill the cell for the total number of salaries, we use our familiar count A or count, either one, function. Once again, these functions are built-in programs. This command just signifies a large number of instructions behind it. For COUNTIF, we have to put in a condition. Present in the range, right? Don't forget about commas. This one, very important. We got the range. So the range is clear. Then we have to put in the condition, which is also a criteria. Now, this is another moment to make a note of the vocabulary that's used by Excel. Criteria is the plural for criterion, and that's what you measure it by. Just say the word condition. It'll be more appropriate for this exercise. But I'm sure range is pretty clear to most people. Criteria, we're going to have one criterion, which is the salary. Never forget the double quotation marks. And the salary should be greater than, right? We're moving from left to right. Greater than 40,000, no commas. Then we have to close the double quotation marks. Then we have to close parentheses. See it go bold for just a second? That means Excel was able to read what you programmed in. And we now have 7 salaries exceeding $40,000. Okay, in question 5, we'll do the commands first, all these functions: lower, proper, upper, and concatenate. And then we'll go back to conditional formatting a little later because I'm in a hurry right now. So we have vehicle ID numbers in 2 columns here. Right, this one was entered deliberately in both versions. Some contain uppercase letters, some contain lower case letters, some contain both. So we just want to have it all in lowercase numbers, in lowercase letters. Okay, so we already have a pretty good idea that Excel is going to bring up its own command pretty quickly. So we want the lowercase in this cell, which already has everything in lowercase, so it's going to be ignored by Excel. Now we use our favorite productivity feature. Grab the handle and pull it down. As you can see, everything has been copied automatically. Once again, an issue of following the design intent. Now, you can see that none of the alpha characters in these cells are uppercase. So this has been done. We have the owner name here and owner name here. So the proper function follows the convention of a typical database design in which the names entered into database start with the last name, followed by comma, and then which is followed by the first name, and both last name and first name have to start with a capital letter. So, once again, Excel is going to understand this pretty quickly. We have proper right here, double click on it, give it the cell address, see what happens right there. Once again, behind each of these functions, there's a multitude of commands, instructions which actually do all this. Once again, our favorite productivity feature, okay, allows us not to do this any more than once. This is done. Now, upper is obviously following the same logic, and by convention, started by the post office. In the US, we have to have state letters in capital letters. Right, so Excel knows what we want. We got our favorite address entered once, and our favorite state of Tennessee. Copy it all, done. Now this particular exercise introduces you to what is called a nested function, a little more complex programming. concatenate will join several text strings into one text string. We talked about strings in the very first class when we talked about addresses, whether it be an internet address or the address of the file on your local machine. The string in terms of computer must have absolutely every single character entered correctly. One incorrect character will ruin the command. Once again, the string is a list of commands and values. Okay, let's go ahead with this. Text 1. The instruction here says that we have to have the license plates follow this convention. State, then hyphen, and then the license plate number, all in capital letters, uppercase. Correct. So this is easy. This is our address. Next, comma. Don't forget that. Correct. Then we're going to have hyphen present in all license plates. So our favorite double quotation mark will hold it for us in all cells. Okay. Now here comes the moment of putting the nested command in. Okay. We see that in the license plate numbers available to us, a lot of letters are lowercase, which will break this rule right here. Therefore, the familiar command, which you practiced right here, has to be repeated, right? Upper, and Excel knows it right here. Okay. Then we give it the address. Let me make sure you can see it all. This is the address. Now watch. The parentheses here are green, and the first one differs in color from this one, which is black. That should prompt you not to forget to close it twice. Enter the first one. It's green, went bold for a second, so it's correct. This is not enough. You got to make sure the black ones are also closed. Now Excel knows what to do with what you wanted to do. Right there. The rest of it is very well familiar to you by now. Done. That's how Excel allows people to increase their productivity. Okay, that'll be the end of this video because I have to go see you guys.